Deadpool has a Carnage Dog and is in love. I wonder how that'll go. Welcome to the Comicstorian Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Today, Benny will tell you the story of Deadpool 9 and 10, the finale to the 2023 Deadpool run. This is a video Benny recorded a while back for members, and now it's time for everyone to experience it. I hope you enjoy.
Lady and Lord Deathstrike step into an apartment staring down at Deadpool and Valentine's bodies. "I've never seen Deadpool this quiet. It's unnatural," Lord Deathstrike says, tapping a button on his phone, thanking his sister for the tip-off. Black smoke rises out of the floor, whisking them both away, Lord Deathstrike turning to walk away. "Congratulations on behalf of Adelair, baby sis. You're in," Lord Deathstrike says to his sister. Later, at the Adelair headquarters, Deadpool is thrown on the ground when the Horned Emperor steps on his hand. "We have to say, we're enjoying this," the Emperor states with a glee, kicking Deadpool in the face. "This can be over if you cede control of Princess to us." But Deadpool shakes his head. "Right, because the last thing that you need is a truck-sized man eating a symbiote dog that won't do what you want." Deadpool grunts as he's getting kicked in the face, black tendrils lancing up from the ground, stabbing Deadpool through the chest, bringing out screams of pain. "Don't worry, we have time." Shortly, Wade is being tossed into a cell by Lord Deathstrike. Valentine turns in surprise as their boyfriend lands hard on the ground. "Wade!" they shout in joy. Wade is shocked to see Valentine has lost their crystal arms, which they explained the Horned Emperor did as a punishment. Lady Deathstrike steps out of the shadows, holding a piece of Valentine's arm in her hand. "What a thing to see," she says, and Deadpool cheers at his friend's approach. "Lady Deathstrike, you're here to rescue us!" Deadpool cheers, but Deathstrike explains that she is a part of the Adelair crew now. Deadpool and Valentine are on their own. "Cooperate with the Emperor. I don't care if they kill you, but try to get it together for Princess's sake," Deathstrike says as she turns to leave, tossing the piece of Valentine's arm into the cell with them. Valentine looks at the piece, explaining that the Emperor must have kept the pieces, and if they can find them, they can rebuild her arms. "They'll keep the pieces as leverage. It's what they always do," Valentine explains. Deadpool stares at her for a moment, questioning how they know the Emperor so well. "I don't remember a time without them. They're the first person I tried to kill," Valentine says with a sigh, and finally tells Deadpool the truth. Her relation to Adelair and what she was supposed to be doing to Deadpool. Meanwhile, Lady Deathstrike has gone to visit Princess, who begins to growl at her, but Deathstrike reaches a hand into the cage with a smile. "Shh, it's okay, girl. I'm going to get you out of here," Deathstrike whispers. Back with Valentine, he explains that they grew up in the Adelair, and as far as they know, the Horned Emperor has been there since the start. One night, Valentine tried to kill the Emperor, knowing that it would be the only way to free themselves from the Adelair. "When they caught me, they laughed. They said they were proud of me," Valentine explains, and they tell Deadpool that the only way to escape the Adelair is to completely destroy it by killing the Horned Emperor. "I've tried it for years. I can't do it, but you can," Valentine says. Deadpool stares at them for a moment before realizing the truth. "You set this all up!" he shouts as he stands, explaining that they did everything so that he would try and kill the Horned Emperor. Valentine jumps to their feet, admitting the truth. "But I didn't expect you to be so easy to fall in love with," they snap. The two argue for a moment before Deadpool pulls Valentine in close, telling them the fact that they're actually a killer too makes them even more attractive. "Basically, everyone I've dated has tried to murder me, but I really like you, Val," Deadpool says, and Valentine nods, looking up at him. "Me too. I think I know how to break us out," they say. Moments later, Deadpool and Valentine are rushing down the halls of Adelair with a horde of strange plant animals with them. "Out of the way! Animal Crossing!" Deadpool shouts as Drop turns and starts to run. "These days, I feel like a box of animal crackers. The horror really left chunks of these things inside of me?" Deadpool asks Valentine. They nod, explaining that by injecting him with a hyper-growth accelerant, they can speed up the growth and use them to escape. Finally, they burst into the Horned Emperor's throne room, the Emperor standing and creating a misty weapon. "You again. We wouldn't have to put you down like the animal you are if you behaved, Deadpool." But Deadpool shakes his head. "That option went out the window the third time you caved in my ribs," he snaps as he leaps forward. Now where is my dog daughter? You horny bastard! Deadpool shouts, and Valentine rushes to his side, finding Deadpool's swords and the remains of her arms. Wait, aim for the spot between their antlers! Valentine shouts as they kick the swords to the merc. Deadpool takes a stabbing from the Emperor as he catches the swords and embeds them into the villain's chest. Never stand between a hitman and his dog! Now give me back my princess! Deadpool snarls, but the Emperor knocks him away. Valentine leaps in, kicking the sword that is lodged in the Emperor's chest, slicing them in half. The Emperor bellows in pain, suddenly disappearing in a cloud of mist. Deadpool gets to his feet, staring in shock. Holy crap! Is that it? Is it over? He asks, and Valentine looks at him with a small smile, nodding. I think so, they begin to state. But suddenly their body goes rigid and they scream in pain, horns beginning to grow out of the sides of their head, and the windows shatter around them. Dark mist begins to swirl around the room as Valentine falls to their knees. What's happening? The voice in my head! They gasp, and Deadpool reaches for their shoulder. Horns, you got antlers! Don't worry, they look good on you, he says, patting them on the back. When suddenly knives fly through the air and the black mist protects them. Deadpool looks up as Miss Ginkgo, Alcadon, and Drop appear in the doorway. Oh child, the Horned Emperor isn't a person, it's a mantle. When one is slain, the person who strikes the killing blow gains the horns and becomes their successor. Alcadon explains. Drop nods, readying himself. Which means it's open season. Deadpool prepares for a fight, but the black mist fills the room. Enough! Valentine says as they reach out with one of their reconstructed crystal hands. I see each of your petty ambitions and render our judgment unworthy, they say, Valentine turning their black eyes on the group. Now, my Atelier, kneel before your emperor, they say. Now Deadpool is looking at Valentine as the new Horned Emperor. He remembers earlier in bed when they asked if he would love them if they were a worm. Of course I would, he told them. Now Deadpool and the other assassins stand before the new Horned Emperor. This is really hot. I am totally into this, Deadpool admits, and Drop grimaces at him. Can you stop being horny for 2 seconds? The assassin asks, leaping forward, slashing at the tendrils, trying to get to the Emperor. But the tendrils stab him through the chest. Petty ambitions, Nat Chang. Your bravado cannot conceal your loneliness and fear that you will die alone, Valentine says with a smile, the black tendrils wrapping around him until he explodes in a shower of blood. Valentine looks down at their new hands. This new vessel of ours is still fragile, but they always are in the beginning. We grow stronger with each and every hunt. They look at Alcadon and Miss Ginkgo, demanding to know if they will submit, and Deadpool raises a hand. Yes, please, he says. Meanwhile, Lady Deathstrike is trying to break the lock on Princess's cell, but her brother appears behind her with a gun. Come on, baby sis, you're supposed to be a professional. Deathstrike whirls on him, knocking the pistol aside. Shut up, she snaps. He whirls around, drawing another gun, opening fire, but Lady Deathstrike leaps through the air, dodging the bullets. I regret putting my reputation on the line to bring you into Atelier, only for you to throw it back in my face by betraying me. And for what? This mutated animal, he demands. He turns one of the pistols on the princess, but Deathstrike leaps forward, hitting him in the chest. You get away from her, she says as she avoids a kick. I don't want a puppy. I'm taking my niece home, and Atelier can go straight to hell, she says, and they trade blows back and forth, with Lady Deathstrike grabbing his hand, putting it against the sensor to unlock the cage. Lord Deathstrike sighs as he raises his pistol, aiming for Lady Deathstrike's face. I really don't want to kill you, Yuriko, he says with a sigh, and Lady Deathstrike smiles as she looks over his shoulder. Good news, brother. You won't get a chance, she says as Princess stomps out of her cage. Can I eat this man? She asks, and Deathstrike shakes her head. No, you can't. All the drama in his blood will give you indigestion, Deathstrike says, and she turns back to her brother, explaining that she'll let him live this time, and with that, she gets on Princess's back. Come on, let's go find your dad. Meanwhile, upstairs, a tendril stabs Deadpool through the chest, but he still moves to block the knives that Alcadon is throwing at Valentine. What are you doing? The assassin shouts, and Valentine turns to look at Deadpool in shock, their voice back to normal once more. Deadpool? They ask, and Deadpool smiles at them before collapsing to the ground. And for the moment, Valentine is back. Wait, there are so many voices fighting in my head, I'm drowning in them, they gasp, and Deadpool tries to stand as more knives fly through the air, slamming into Valentine's back. Not cool, Alkadon! Knife play is one of those things you negotiate ahead of time, Deadpool says as he staggers to his feet, drawing his swords. But Valentine isn't dead. Horns spring out of their back, knocking the knives away and circling both them and Deadpool. While Ginkgo and Alkadon continue their attack outside, Deadpool pulls out 2 grenades, pushing them through the horns. Watch out, Alkadon says as she grabs her wife, leaping away, the explosion tearing apart the room. Deadpool then opens up his eyes as he lays on the ground, the shield of horns gone. Miss Ginkgo kneels over Alkadon in shock. My love, say something, she whispers, and at the door, Deathstrike and Princess poke their heads around the corner. Is that Valentine? Deathstrike whispers to the dog, who shakes her head. Doesn't smell right, Princess growls. Miss Ginkgo grows angry, raising up, glaring at the approaching Horned Emperor. You touched what belongs to me, she says as her powers begin to glow and a leafy golem rises up. There you are, Ginkgo. Many of our lives remember your true form. You're finally shedding your mortal skin, the Emperor states as Ginkgo's skin begins to crack, energy lashing out as Ginkgo promises to destroy the Emperor and leave them vesselless for hurting Alkadon. But Deadpool steps between them. Wait, listen, I get it. Burn the world for the love of your life. It's a classic, but the love of your life is bleeding out in your arms. If you waste time on us instead of getting her to a hospital, she's going to die, Deadpool says, and Ginkgo looks down at her wife, who is still breathing. Finally, she looks up. No matter how far you run, I will find you both. No dimension will be safe from me, she says before disappearing. Finally alone, Deadpool turns back to the Emperor. What is it you want, Deadpool? To kneel, as is your nature, or to fight, knowing that you can do nothing to defeat us? Valentine asks as the Horned Emperor. But Deadpool steps forward, slashing at the tendrils. I would love you even if you were a worm, he says, thinking about their conversation that morning in bed. It doesn't matter what form you take, because you're you, my Valentine, he says as he finally reaches them, taking them into his arms. Be the horny majesty or don't. I just want you, he says softly when suddenly the blackness disappears out of Valentine's eyes and they smile. I'm pretty sure you're the horny majesty, they say, and Deadpool is shocked, but Valentine explains that she heard Deadpool's voice through the cacophony of the past Emperor's voices. You were my lifeline. I could have stayed there forever, but I didn't want to miss this, they say as they pull Deadpool in for a kiss. And with the battle over, Deadpool and Valentine gather Lady Deathstrike and Princess. Come on, let's go home. I got at least 4 unexpired eggs in the drive, if fake Cable didn't eat them all, Deadpool says. 1 month later, Atelier has reopened, now under the command of the new Horned Emperor and their little family, Lady Deathstrike, Deadpool, and Princess.
And that was the finale to the Deadpool 2023 run. It's bittersweet having the finale to this story, but I'm glad Benny was able to finish the full run. Be sure to let us know how you liked it down below, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny. Thanks for the story.